What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, and in today's video I'm here to talk to you guys about yet another fighting game that was announced, and yet another tag fighting game at that I am looking forward to. Now I will say I'm not quite as excited for this one as some of the other games that we have coming in the future, because I don't have as much investment in the series, but I do think that this game still looks really cool, and it's 100% something that I will be picking up and playing whenever it does eventually release. But the other day at the Xbox Games Showcase, we got the reveal of Invincible Verses, which is a brand new fighting game based off of, well, Invincible. Now, the reason why I said what I just said is because I haven't actually seen Invincible. Just like I know it's popular, I know people like it, it's supposed to be really good, I just haven't watched it for myself. Just wasn't particularly interested, or just went out of my way to watch it, you know what I'm saying? That being said, this game got me hype, and it makes me want to go watch this series now. So that's something that I think I'll be doing in the very near future. That being said, we got a trailer to take a look at, and then we have like a behind the scenes like dev talk or something of that nature that we're going to take a look at as well. I've been getting a lot of people asking me what my thoughts and opinions were on it, so let's just go ahead and just go through it all here in today's video. That being said, let's go ahead and watch this trailer, and I'll just talk about the game with you guys a little bit. So off rip, right? Wasn't sure what this really was.
This is ridiculous. Please, come on.
But it didn't take very long to figure it out. So I see the character, like I know who the characters are, or at least I recognize what they look like, right? So Invincible and Omni-Man and everything like that. Quarter Up was not a studio that I'm familiar with. We learned after the fact that that is a new studio that has been formed by a team of devs from the Killer Instinct 2013 like dev team. And right here. As soon as I saw that, I was like, huh, 3 characters. And like just for a split second, I wonder if this is another fighting game. But it goes on, you know what I mean? And I'm looking at it, and it kind of gave me like I don't know if this is crazy to say, but it low-key gave me vibes of like Spider-Verse, right? Just for the animation style. I don't really know what you call that style of animation, by the way, that Spider-Verse kind of like did and popularized. You even saw other movies like Puss in Boots use that. There's some other movies that have come out since then that use like a similar thing, where it's kind of, I don't really know how you explain it. Is it something with like the frame rate or something? I don't know. It's like this really cool effect, and this low-key felt like it had that to some extent. And yeah, you see homie getting his ish pushed in. Wham! Wham! I saw some people were saying that as they were watching this, they were kind of getting like NRS vibes, which I could see some of that for sure. Now that we know that it's being made by the people who worked on Killer Instinct, I can see some of that as well.
I hoped you'd understand why I had to do this.
It's funny because Omni-Man is in Mortal Kombat 1, obviously. He was one of the DLC characters of that game. All right. So once bro came through with the once Shorty came through with the assist, at this point I was like, it's a 3v3 fighting game. At this, I don't know about y'all, but once they showed up and it was 3v3, I was like, oh, it's another 3v3 fighting game. Which again, like I haven't read or watched Invincible. By the way, I tweeted that I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch Invincible now. And the amount of like mouth breathing losers who like didn't recommend, didn't suggest, but like demanded that I read it instead, and were just being like very condescending, and like I just, come on, bro. Anyway, now I'm gonna not read it out of spite. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm the guy who's going to throw you off this planet for good. I'm
Invincible.
I trusted you.
Also, the stance looking powerful. Hey. So yeah, man, another tag fighter. I don't know about you guys. As much as I love just the fighting game genre and a good old 1v1 fighting game, I've been craving another tag fighter, man, because nothing has really hit for me since Dragon Ball FighterZ. And this, I don't think this is gonna be the savior for me, right? Because yes, sir. You know, I don't have the same investment in this. Like I'm even less of a fan of this than I am of Marvel, right? And I don't consider myself like a particularly big Marvel head. But this is something I'm absolutely looking forward to, just because I love the genre, and I'm gonna watch the series, and who knows, I might become a really big fan of it. But the game looks dope to me. The game looks really dope to me. I saw some hate for it, honestly, though, online, and people saying that this is gonna flop, or that, you know, it's not gonna compare to the Marvel game and stuff like that. And I'm just like, yo, like they can all coexist, you know what I'm saying? But Invincible Verses coming 2026 to Xbox Series X. Xbox, PC, and whatever else, Xbox Cloud. I'm sure it'll be on other consoles as well. I doubt this will be an Xbox exclusive, but if it is, I low-key might have to pick up an Xbox. That being said, Invincible Versus, the versus could just mean that it's a versus game, it's a fighting game, so they're fighting against each other, but it could also mean we might see some guest characters in there at some point. I mean, with the Marvel game coming next year and looking as incredible as it is and as popular and as successful as I expect it to be, and then obviously you just have the popularity of the MCU, DC got to fight back. Okay, DC got some fighting back to do. What if this game ends up having some DC guest characters? I'm just saying that Batman and Superman Invincible Versus character trailer could hit like crack in the 80s. I tweeted it out and somebody called me delusional. I'm like, it ain't like I'm saying this gonna happen. I'm just saying like it just, you know what I mean? Just putting it out there in the ether, just putting it out there in the universe. But yeah, the trailer does look pretty good. And then we have there we go. We have this joint right here. If I could actually pull it up, that would be very nice if I was tech savvy for 30 seconds. Here we go. So we got this video right here, the Invincible Versus studio reveal and behind the scenes. Also worth noting that Rip, who you guys might know from the Tekken community, is actually a combat designer for this game, which blew my mind. I didn't see that coming. I haven't seen this video yet, but I saw it going around on Twitter that he's working on the game, so that's really, really cool.
Like, damn, that's awesome. Hell yeah.
Also worth noting, hey, there's my boy. That's also worth noting that it says down here, you can't see it because my camera's blocking it, but it says this is pre-alpha footage. So the game is still decently early in development. It is supposed to be releasing next year, but it's, it could look very, now we're seeing a lot more. That we see the UI and stuff. Okay, yeah, we're getting a look at a lot more than we saw before, based off that first trailer. But mechanically, visually, and graphically, and just like some of the animation stuff could definitely look different by the time this game officially releases. Also, I can't wait to start getting some betas and stuff for some of these games, man. And by the way, I don't want to use this as an opportunity to talk negatively on other games, actually. So we're just going to disregard what I was about to say.
These guys were able to execute lightning in a bottle in a way that I've never seen in the industry before. I love this shit.
Does Max have a role in the development of this game?
I can't wait for the fans to play this game.
Which wouldn't shock me, because Max did play a role in Killer Instinct's development, if I'm not mistaken. I forget the story, but I know he worked with some promotion stuff, but also I think he had a role in the actual development of the game. So
I'm not your son anymore. I'm the guy who's going to throw you off this planet for good. I love you, Eve. If you make me hurt you, I'm not holding back.
My first impressions of playing Invincible Versus was a huge...
I'll say the UI is inoffensive. It's not incredible looking. I think it could use a little bit more style or flair, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I just feel like it could use just a little bit more like pizzazz to it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like some comic print on the health. Well, actually, it does have some comic print on the health bar, so I'm looking at it. It's just really small. I was thinking like some screen tones or something. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit more pop to it, but it's not bad looking at all.
My first impressions of playing Invincible Versus was a huge moment for me. Oh yeah. I've had a lot of really cool.
This is the co-creator of Invincible, Robert Kirkman. Okay, I was not familiar with his game,
TV shows,
so I'm trying to get familiar with this game. You feel me?
To see the characters of Invincible in a fighting game,
it's gonna be a very violent game. You see the amount of blood?
So I cried. I think one of the key elements to Invincible, be it the comic or the show...
Let's say Crush Counter? We Street Fighter with it?
One of the key elements to Invincible, be it the comic or the show, is the insane and absolutely brutal fights. It's kind of our marquee thing, and we do these absolutely
I didn't realize Invincible was quite this graphic.
On your couch that hopefully are blowing you away, but this game
that would explain all the
really
blood.
The first time that you can actually experience these and feel them as you're living them. And to be honest, some of the fights in the game can get...
I hope she uses her hair as a whip. That's kind of sick. Hold up.
Which is really exciting for me.
It's a very LotusAsakura looking character.
Something that dials up the intensity of action, the intensity of violence, the intensity of combat. And to me, one of the most impactful things.
Okay, I was waiting to see what his title was going to be under his name if he was playing a role in the development, but they're just calling him, fighting game broadcaster creator, which he is. One of the best.
That's the thing that my brain always goes to when you press buttons, when you do stuff.
I'm so jealous of everyone who's gotten a chance to play this game already. Not just him, but apparently, from what I heard, there was a playable build of this secretly at Combo Breaker as well, where some people got their hands on it. And hey man, I don't know what a brother got to do to get invited into somebody's circle. Look here, listen. Fighting game developers out there, look. I don't talk to nobody, okay? My lips is sealed. I signed the NDA, whether it's 2XKO, Invincible Verses, Marvel Tokon, Fighter Souls, whatever brother got to do to get into these circles, let me know. Let me know. You feel me? Like, I just want to play some games, you know what I'm saying? I won't tell nobody. Swears it. I swears it. Anyway, we continue on with it.
That assist is crazy. And yeah, watching a character, you know, a 3v3 tag fighter with so much gore, that's like the first thing that was like, wow, this is different. This is something I've never seen before.
Like most fighting games nowadays.
And there's my boy Rip, combat designer.
Create something completely new, right? Most of these fighting games that exist, they're very high in the iterative number of whatever their series is. And if you deviate from that too much, the fan base kind of revolts against you. They're like, dude, that's not my same game that I'm growing up liking.
You know, say Rip, you wouldn't happen to be a longtime fan of an ongoing fighting game franchise whose latest iteration deviates a lot from the traditional. You wouldn't happen to have some first-hand experience with that, would you, Rip? Oh, is that right? Anyway.
But in this opportunity we have,
is that right?
I think what the FGC is looking for kind of.
Oh, we had Vicious in there. I think I seen Tasty Steve and okay. So
similar to what.
Wait, was that Steve? It went by so fast. My fault for pausing and rewinding and stuff.
I think what the FGC is looking for kind of similar to what other people are looking for. It's just like, give me something new. Give me something I haven't seen before. Especially people that are fans of Invincible, they're gonna be like, oh wow, I've never seen it in this light.
I am ending you. I see it all now. Every single molecule.
Damn.
I'm the narrative director on the project.
Yeah, man. Between 2XKO, this, and Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, 2026 is the year of the tag fighter. And I know some people not really trying to put it in that same tier, but Hunter x Hunter Net Impact, from what I played of it so far, is pretty fun too. That game releases next month though, so we're getting out of like potentially a full year before some of these other games. But
is that there's a lot of matchups that never really occurred in the comic or the television show, and you actually get to see those in a fighting game, which is really exciting to me.
Building this game, it was critical to be authentic to the IP. So when you take a character from the show or for the comics and you examine their personality, like the way that they move, the way they react to others, you look at what are the opportunities where I can translate that and really amplify it. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll break down scenes. We'll look at like, would they move like that? Does Mark have that ability? Would he do that thing? How would he respond to someone if they defeated one of his teammates? How would he introduce himself to someone new that he's never met before? Or someone he's quite familiar with, who he thinks is, you know, downright fucking evil? Sorry for the F-bomb.
Now you good, bro.
One of the things that I found it most challenging in terms of figuring out our characters and environments is how we make them feel unique. We do want the characters to have the same sort of body type, the same overall proportions.
Man, Evo 2026 is going to be crazy.
At that point, when you get to
there's going to be a lot of new games next year.
How do I build upon it? How do I add those secondary, tertiary details from the rips in the
I'm thinking about, yeah, because I mean, this is likely to be there. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, I mean, that's a game. I guess it depends, like when, because like some of these games that we know they're releasing in 2026, we don't know when exactly. So as long as they're releasing like before like July, right? Or if they're releasing sometime around there or earlier, then you could have potentially this, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, 2XKO, and that's 3 games off rip that could be brand new. Hunter x Hunter Net Impact, as much as I'd love to see that game succeed, I feel like it's going to be super niche, maybe even more niche than this game. And you know, it might be at Evo, but maybe as a side game. If it'd be like a main game, I'd probably be a little bit surprised by that, to be honest.
The blood stains, to the smaller details in the hair and the facial features. We wanted to feel like Mark through and through, and that's exactly why it's exciting, because it's a challenge.
Skybound is a really hands-on company, and it just adds a level of authenticity that I think is kind of unparalleled.
So we're still doing some polish on it, but that's probably gonna be one of the bigger ones that we do. We really wanted to stand out with.
That's amazing.
I got the Skybound, and I was catching up with Mike Willette, and I just said, what was the happiest time in your career? And he said, working on Killer Instinct, Double Helix Games.
Killer Instinct is a game that I personally never really got into. I did try the game out. It wasn't necessarily for me.
work on
But it wasn't necessarily because of the gameplay that like I just found like not interesting or like cool or whatever. It was more so that
we decided to call
I think the most important thing for me, other than the movement in a game, which I didn't dislike in Killer Instinct necessarily, is that one of the most important things, it might be second on the list, or maybe it's equally as important, is finding a character that really clicks with me and like resonates with me. And I just didn't really have that in KI, which I know sounds crazy to some people because some people think the roster in those games is like so incredible, but for me, I just didn't have. Just didn't have one that worked for me.
So for us, that was a lot of the hard work is kind of that part had been done already with the IP. Now we just need to make it. And so we started reaching out to everybody.
Essentially, when Mike Willett calls, I pick up the phone. You know, he's a guy that I love working with. I was aware of Invincible. I was like, oh my God, what don't they have?
Goodness gracious. Okay, this is a much more violent and like gory series than I realized.
Like throw a rock
which
and
I'm
hit something amazing. So it's good problems to have.
not in love with, but
So
still want to check it out.
Dave and Mike reached out to me. I thought it was a pipe dream at first, but I'm like, oh really? They're like, is that a real thing? And I'm like, I am very much interested. Like I am super down. Like I'm in. Let's fucking go. And then that doubled when they told me the project Invincible as a fighting game, and I'm like, oh my God! Because immediately, as soon as they said those words in that sequence, like I just started thinking of what we could do.
There's a million miles an hour. I get
all
it.
The same folks that put together one of the most impossible games, now one of the most well-received fighting games of all time, is working on another fighting game. It's kind of like a dream come true. The crew that put together Killer Instinct, that's now working on Invincible, is pretty much responsible for approaching fighting games with a different perspective, with something that wanted to give agency to players that were on defense and offense, to have you have a level of mind games beyond just what's going on in that one specific moment. They want you to think of what happened before and what happened after.
Kizzy. I didn't even recognize him in some of the earlier
in
scenes.
this game too. In
Everybody got to play this.
Sort of like can touch the opponent once and they're toast, man. It's just it's Kaputski for that character. I really dig the fact that there's so much defense and offensive options in this game, but the commitment to having a full 3v3 tag fighter from, you know, a developer that hasn't done that before leads me to hope there's going to be a whole bunch of new concepts and things we haven't seen.
The process of building this team, it's been fun, but it wasn't just getting a bunch of all the old heads back together again. It's finding new blood, people that either
like Rip.
tried at FGC or hyper talented and really passionate about their work and what they do and about the IP.
Fan art is actually how I got this gig. As an artist, I'm always gravitate towards characters that I find interesting. My relationship with Invincible was pretty much love at first sight, both in terms of the characters, but also just the animated sequences, storytelling, the world, everything just felt super unique. And one of the things I'm most excited about this role is the opportunity to take these established characters that you've seen in the comic and you've seen in the show and find a way to make them feel like an inherent part of the game that we're creating without jeopardizing what made them so great to begin with.
I've been a fan of Invincible since I was, you know, young. Like, not that I'm old now, but I've been a fan of Invincible forever. And I
didn't realize Invincible was something that had been going on for that long.
Beginning. And
hell, they just said that one of the guys that's on here, he's the co-creator. Well, I mean, I guess, you know, he didn't look like super old, but this guy could be 30, and Invincible could have been around for 20 years. He'd been 10 when he followed it. I don't know. When did Invincible actually
where Mark can
start?
bleed from? Like, does Mark bruise? How much blood can we have? Like, where is that blood coming from? It's usually the orifices. It's always the orifices.
The orifices. Oh, Invincible debuted in 2003, so it has been 20 years actually.
Not that. How I got involved with Invincible Verses is a pretty crazy story.
This I gotta hear.
Here, Dave, also with Dave, and we're gonna be doing an FGC first look, very first look with Rip. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Rip is in the house.
I got invited over to Mike's house, like it wasn't like a studio or something. So I go over to his house, I knock on the door, he opens it up, I walk in, they have a TV set up there, and it just says Invincible on. I was like, oh, damn, we're doing Invincible.
Have a seat, dude. Oh my God.
I saw it super duper early. Like, you have to understand, it did not look anything like it looks now. So originally when I first played it, there was only 2 characters. It was just Mark and Eve, and it was supposed to be a tag fighter, 3-on-3. And then I remember I went home and I came back for the next test, and I was like, you know, I had the shower thought where I was like, you guys are the KI devs. Why don't you guys bring some of KI into a tag fighter? Because that's never been done. So then the next one I get a DM from Mike Willett. He's like, this could work. He's like, you should apply.
He has a little blood again. Which is like so missing in all the
team fighting games in general.
I'll take a sip of water when I goddamn feel like I need to take a sip of water. I don't need you directing me on when I take a sip of water. I think this is just the biggest and best.
My question to some of you guys out there: does Invincible have like a big enough universe and enough characters to like really fill out a decent sized roster and then prolong the game with content and DLCs, updates and whatnot? You know,
into the game. Every dollar gets spent into making.
Does Invincible got the sauce for this? What I'm seeing so far looks pretty good, but
and everyone understands the mission, like what we're trying to do. Like
I'm not familiar with their game as it were.
Talent like every day. We want this to be a tournament quality game that's played for years and years to come. So the way that we look at it is it has to have compelling systems and gameplay and hype moments. It has to have art that is not just evocative of the IP, but will stand the test of time on its own. When the FGC gets their hands on the game, what I hope happens is they get a ton of excitement. They get to see familiar faces that they want to dig into. And critically, I hope they go, oh, I want to lab this game. I want to lab this game.
So
for
jealous.
Hours. That would make me so happy. It's not just the hype and excitement from like doing big combos or the brutality, but for them to really want to dig into the systems that are there. Because I think that's what's going to keep them there for the long haul.
Oh, that was sick. That was sick.
And I don't mean just satisfied or like, oh, that's great. It's like, no, it's got to be fantastic. It's got to blow people's socks off.
Just fucking die!
Damn, and that's it. Well, hey man, shout out to Quarter Up and Skybound Studio. The game looks very promising, and I can't wait to see more of it. And I can't wait to actually get my hands on it, as well as all the other incredible games it looks like that we have releasing in 2026. But like I said, I haven't checked out Invincible, but now I want to more than ever before. So that's probably something that I will be doing. And who knows, maybe I'll talk more about this game or this series in a video at some point when I do that. But yeah, if y'all got any questions for me or suggestions for me, anything like that, let me know in the comments down below how y'all thinking or what y'all thinking, how y'all feeling. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay tuned for all awesome content and I'm bringing you. With all it being said, that's pretty much all I have today. Remember, doesn't get happen to you, swing the bat. Later.